But above all, the question of accountability and how does one get their money back? The investors or the founders might be in jail, but what happens to people's hard-earned money and how do you stay away from it? Well, that's the focus that we have on TVC. And joining us now to discuss this is Muktesh Chandar. He is a former IPS and a cybersecurity expert as well. Good morning, sir. Thanks so much for joining us on TVC yet again. And Mukteshji, you know, the thing that comes out with this scheme, which is very mind-boggling, is the fact that this is not an OTP scam. This is not people being fooled. This is like a scheme which has been oversold with promises and people fell for it. But the thing that has really stood out in this scam is that generally these kind of cashback schemes or investment schemes are targeted towards an urban crowd. But this time we have people in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, you heard some case studies over there, them being impacted. So what is this telling you? As internet penetration is sort of getting in, so are the schemes, and people in the hinterlands perhaps and in middle India not quite prepared for it.
Good morning, Sonal. The most important thing is that greed is an important factor which plays a role in all these frauds. And this greed is universal, whether it is urban people or whether they are rural people. Get-rich schemes have been there in past also, and people get blinded by that something which is so good that it cannot be true, too good to be true kind of thing. That kind of skepticism is missing out, and people start believing others that he has got a good money, he has made money. Why I should not do that? That fear of missing out. So there are two important factors. One is that greed, other is fear of missing out. These basic human instincts are there in everyone, and that is what is being exploited. Uh, the most important question here is that the money is being circulated. The customer's money is going to customers only. There is no profit model in it. Nobody can promise that kind of profit model. But who is to check this? When the bubble is actually growing, that is the time the police and other regulating agencies must start probing into it. That look, there is a company which is giving so much of money, unimaginable, unsustainable. What is the business model? From where the money is coming? The moment you start analyzing those bank records and other things, bank statements, you will realize that it is the money which is being circulated from the new clients to the old clients, and the bubble starts going. Now, when do you stop this? When the complaint comes, when the fellow disappears, or you puncture the bubble in between? This is the most important question. And in fact, in Goa also, when I was DIG Goa long back, there was a bubble growing. There was no complaint. Everybody was getting money in time. Everybody was making a lot of money, and a lot of Goans started doing that. But I decided to puncture the bubble. So I started investigating and called these companies and looked into their charts. Then we realized that there's no money going anywhere. It is the money which is being circulated, just like a very simple pyramid scheme of Ponzi scheme. Now, whose role is here? Police would say there is no complainant. And when the complaint actually comes, it is too late. By the time the money has already disappeared, you only have a few accused who will use this money to fight the legal battle, a long battle. And even if they get convicted, the money is not going to come back. That is the crux of the whole problem. Exploitation of the basic human greed, which is universal among literate, educated, even financial people who are involved in the financial sector. They also get trapped into these kind of things. So very simple basic rule: if anything is too good, that most probably it is not true. And then be very skeptical in all these things. The basic business model, how much money can it generate? 2%, 3%, 4%. Somebody is promising you 50%. Obviously, you can blindly say that it is false. As simple as that. And don't be worried about the fear of missing out, losing out. Because you think that if it is a scam, you are actually protecting yourself. When I'm hearing the case of this person from Rajasthan, I'm deeply worried about such people, because they, without verifying, they invest every single rupee they have got into such schemes, and then they go. And the use of this crypto word is
Yeah.
being misused. See, the buzzword everywhere is that crypto is giving you a lot of returns. Yes, it is giving a lot of returns, but when you actually have a cryptocurrency in your hand, all these companies are promising money in the name of crypto. You don't even have a valid wallet of your own. The money is going
Okay,
into
Sure.
their account,
Muktesh ji,
not into any
Muktesh ji,
wallet,
we do want to
crypto wallet.
understand from you though. You've now told our audiences what they need to be aware of. Anything that looks too good to be true, there's probably a problem there. But I do want to ask you, because you did say earlier, how did this happen? So what I want to highlight for our audiences is this organization had been doing this since 2017. They've only gotten caught, come under the scanner in the last few months. But they've been operating for multiple years. When we took a look at some of the records, there are families that have invested a crore plus into this one app, losing a lot of money. So you earlier said that yes, there was a failure somewhere very clearly here of agencies that should have been more aware that something like this was happening in the first place. But I want you to speak a little bit more to that point, Muktesh ji, because I don't hold audiences too much to blame here. I'm sure there are 70-year-old, 60-year-old people, let's talk 70 plus, they see something like this, they maybe can't even read it correctly on their phones. You know, how much can we tell them to be aware? So there, do you think there's a lack in the system, more needs to be done?
Yes, Toya, you are absolutely right. We can't be blaming the poor victims for everything. But the fact is that any scheme, any business model, is it sustainable or not? And where they are collecting money, there are role of agencies involved. And first of all, being a police officer, ex-police officer, I would say that police also has to be vigilant that in a market such a scheme has come, and whether it is a Ponzi scheme or whether it's a genuine business scheme, they must start looking at it suspiciously from the very beginning. Because as I told you in the beginning, there are no victims because everybody is getting the money. And the fact that this company has been able to sustain for such a long, that means the bubble was going larger and larger.
Right.
As I told you, any financial investigation would immediately reveal that they have not invested into anything to make such a money. Where can they invest? Have they invested into real crypto? Where are the crypto wallet accounts? How much money they have made? The money which is being paid to so many customers genuinely is coming from the new customers only. When the new customer supply dries, everything will collapse. And the pyramids collapse like that only. The new customers keep coming. As long as they keep coming, the business model sustains because
Right.
it is their money which is being used to fund all the operations and all the lucrative promises they have been making. The moment
Yeah.
stops coming, and the pyramid starts collapsing. But as I told earlier, who is supposed to puncture it, or do we let the bubble go to the fullest extent, thousands of victims be there, and then when the bubble actually bursts on its own, that is the time do you react on a complaint and they start acting? This is
Yeah.
reactive policing. This is the reactive way of even RBI or SEBI or any other regulating agencies.
Yeah.
What I say is that we must start probing the
But
bubble when it is small.
Muktesh ji, मैं interrupt कर रही हूँ. Muktesh ji, I'm interrupting because I want to shift the focus here, not so much on who's accountable, but to what can we as citizens do. As we all understand, there's only so much policing, there's only so much SEBI guidelines, there's only so many RBI guidelines that can be followed. And we've discussed this in multiple occasions in the past as well, that the power of the button is in our hand and we've got to exercise it. Right? But here it seems like it is not just, like I said, this is different from an OTP scam. This is like a Ponzi scheme gone digital. It's the same scheme, it's the same kind of allurement, it's just that it's happening digitally, right? So for people in small towns or even educated individuals investing in it, can you give us 3 questions that you should ask yourself before you make an investment in any kind of these schemes?
As I mentioned very clearly, if a scheme is promising you very high returns, see the comparison is FD. If FD gives you 7% of about 7% of interest, and anybody is promising you 20%, it's fake. Just presume it is fake. Don't even get into it. and particularly for the small towns, use safest investment options of mutual funds or something like that. Never ever go into crypto or something which you don't understand. The second is that don't don't believe what others are saying to you, because they do not know. Use your own discretion. It's as simple as that. And just because it is there in the market, just because no regulating agency has ever investigated it, you don't trust this scheme. All these things are happening virtually. You are not there physically connected to anybody. It's all disappearing. It's a black hole. Just understand that.
Okay, Mukteshji, thank you for those 3 takeaways. I just want to give our audiences that last cue. There's nothing like free money. I think that was the essence of what you were saying too. Anytime there's any offer that looks like it's too good to believe, it probably isn't real. Mukteshji, thank you for joining us early this morning to bring us our audiences that perspective.